When you look at the numbers, especially when presented starkly, it can be scary. The sheer volume of data can feel overwhelming. News reports often claim Pitbull-type dogs, specifically, are responsible for a high number of serious attacks. These reports often highlight the severity of the injuries. These statistics are used, often in official settings, to support breed-specific legislation, which is a controversial topic, aiming to ban or restrict these dogs from certain areas or even entirely. The numbers seem to provide, at first glance, solid proof that this breed or type of dog is a unique threat to public safety and well-being. This constant stream of frightening data, amplified by media coverage, makes it feel like these dogs, specifically Pitbull-type dogs, are a public safety crisis demanding immediate action. But before we accept these figures at face value and implement potentially harmful policies, we need to ask some very important questions. Where do these numbers come from in the first place? What are their sources? Who is collecting the data, and what are their biases? And how are they identifying, with any degree of certainty, the dogs involved in these incidents? The simplicity of the numbers, the clean presentation, can hide a much more complicated reality, a web of factors that influence these statistics. Many organizations collect information on dog bites, from hospitals to animal control, but their findings are often based, unfortunately, on visual identification, which is notoriously unreliable. These reports become the foundation, the building blocks for heated arguments and passionate debates, and fuel a narrative, a story that spreads quickly, that these dogs are unpredictable and inherently dangerous. For many, these statistics, presented with such authority, are the end of the conversation, a closed case. But the story told by the statistics, as they are currently gathered and interpreted, might not be the whole story, and likely isn't. The emotional weight of these figures is immense, understandably so, but we need to look behind the curtain, beyond the surface. Are these numbers really truly as clear-cut as they seem on the surface? The shocking headlines designed to grab attention are just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg, of a much longer and more complex tale, a story with many twists and turns. We need to dig deeper, investigate further, to understand what is truly happening and what is driving these numbers. The truth behind the statistics, the real story, may surprise you and challenge your assumptions. One of the biggest problems in discussing pit bulls is figuring out what that even means. It's a term loaded with assumptions and often misinformation. What exactly are we talking about when we say pit bull? The term pit bull isn't a single breed. It's not like saying golden retriever or German shepherd, where there's a clear standard. It's a label for several breeds and mixes. It's an umbrella term that encompasses a variety of dogs, with a certain look, a broad, somewhat subjective set of physical characteristics. This creates confusion because the definition is so vague and makes the statistics misleading. Data becomes skewed when the very foundation is shaky. Visual identification is often wrong. People make assumptions based on appearance. Even experts get it wrong. It's surprisingly difficult to accurately identify a dog's breed just by looking at it. A dog labeled a pit bull in a shelter or by an individual might have no pit bull DNA at all. Genetic testing often reveals surprising results. When a dog bite happens and an incident is reported, the breed is usually guessed based on a quick assessment, not confirmed through any reliable method. That guess becomes, unfortunately, an official fact in a report. It's then perpetuated in news stories and statistics. If many different types of dogs with similar builds are all being called pit bulls, regardless of their actual lineage, the number of attacks blamed on them, statistically, will naturally be higher. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy based on misidentification. It's like blaming all traffic accidents on blue cars. It's a meaningless correlation. The label itself, the very word, becomes a magnet for blame, regardless of the dog's individual behavior. Any medium to large dog, with short hair and a muscular build, fitting that vague description, is at risk of being misidentified and unfairly judged. Without accurate DNA testing, the gold standard, we can't be certain about the breed, and we risk perpetuating harmful stereotypes. The pit bull label is a catch-all term, a convenient but inaccurate shorthand, often based on looks alone and superficial observations. This lazy labeling shapes public opinion, creating fear and prejudice, influences laws, leading to discriminatory, breed-specific legislation, and unfairly condemns millions of dogs simply because of how they look. Understanding this confusion, recognizing the flaws in the pit bull label, is the first step toward a more honest conversation and a more just world for all dogs. If the numbers are high, alarmingly high in some areas, we have to ask why. What are the underlying factors that contribute to this concerning trend? It's not enough to simply acknowledge the statistics. We must delve deeper to understand the root causes. Pitbull-type dogs were originally bred for strength and tenacity, characteristics that made them valuable in certain working roles. But they were also bred to be friendly with people, showing a duality in their nature. This inherent friendliness is often overlooked. Unfortunately, their reputation attracts irresponsible owners, individuals who may seek to exploit the breed's physical capabilities. These owners may neglect or even abuse their dogs, creating a cycle of mistreatment and potential aggression. Some may even actively encourage aggression, fostering dangerous behaviors. It's crucial to remember that a dog's behavior is heavily influenced by its owner and the environment it's raised in. Lack of socialization, proper training, and adequate care can make any dog, regardless of breed, more likely to bite. These are fundamental needs that must be met. Backyard breeding adds significantly to the problem, flooding communities with poorly bred dogs, often with questionable temperaments and health issues. These puppies often end up in unprepared homes or already overburdened shelters, fueling overpopulation, neglect, and ultimately, a higher risk of negative outcomes. Social factors matter too. The environment in which these dogs live plays a crucial role. These dogs are disproportionately popular in communities with fewer resources and limited access to education and support. In high-stress environments where resources are stretched thin with little support for pet owners, the risk of negative incidents inevitably rises. The result? A higher likelihood of attacks, leading to increased fear and concern within communities. This is often blamed solely on the breed, perpetuating harmful stereotypes. But the real issue is a complex mix of owner behavior and responsibility, irresponsible breeding practices, and the broader social context in which these dogs live. The cycle continues, unfortunately, as stigma keeps these dogs languishing in shelters, often overlooked by potential adopters. This makes it harder for them to find good homes and loving families. It's not just about the dog, it's about the environment we create for them and the opportunities we provide. Focusing only on breed through measures like breed-specific legislation ignores the complex social issues at play and fails to address the underlying causes of the problem. To truly solve the problem and create safer communities for both people and dogs, we need to look at the bigger picture and adopt a more holistic approach. People say pit bulls are more dangerous because they cause more damage. Their strength means they can inflict serious injury, but so can any large, powerful dog. The potential for harm is about size and strength, not breed. The myth of a super strong pit bull bite isn't true. Studies show their bite force is average for their size. The real issue is their determination, not a unique jaw. Behavioral studies show pit bull type breeds often pass temperament tests at higher rates than many popular breeds. The average pit bull is not inherently more aggressive toward people. With proper care, they can be well-behaved family pets. An unsocialized or abused dog of any breed can be dangerous. Because of their strength, a pit bull that does attack can cause severe injuries. But the evidence doesn't support the idea that they're naturally more aggressive. The risk comes from a combination of factors: strength, ownership, and upbringing. The focus should be on the deed, not the breed. One of the most damaging myths is that pit bulls have a locking jaw. There's no scientific evidence for this. Pit bull jaws are just like any other dogs. The myth likely comes from their tenacious terrier behavior, not anatomy. Their determination can make it seem like they can't let go, but they're always in control. This myth makes them seem like monsters with unnatural abilities. Another myth: pit bulls are inherently aggressive toward people. In reality, temperament is shaped by genetics and environment. For centuries, they were bred to be loyal and gentle with humans. The vicious pit bull idea is a modern invention. These myths distract from the real problem: irresponsible ownership and lack of socialization. It's easier to blame a monster than to address human failures. Debunking these myths is crucial to finding real solutions. Pit bulls are just dogs with the same needs as any other. The media shapes how we see pit bulls. When a pit bull is involved in a bite, the breed is always in the headline. If another breed bites, the breed is often left out. This creates a strong bias and a feedback loop of fear. Scary headlines get clicks, so news outlets keep highlighting pit bull attacks. Over time, pit bull becomes synonymous with vicious attack. The real context, abuse, neglect, provocation, is often ignored. The story becomes bad dog does bad thing, not why did this happen? This biased coverage fuels hysteria and leads to breed bans. Families lose their pets, and responsible owners are punished. The media's focus distracts from real solutions that address all breeds. We need more balanced reporting to understand the real issues. Fear shouldn't drive policy. Facts should. The most vulnerable are often the victims' children and the elderly. Children are at highest risk, especially by dogs they know. Their small size and lack of understanding can lead to severe injuries. The elderly are also at risk. Falls or bites can have serious consequences. Even minor incidents can have a major impact on vulnerable people. The psychological impact is profound. Survivors may suffer PTSD and lasting fear. For children, trauma can shape their relationship with animals for life. But dogs are victims. Too many are neglected and abused or abandoned. Millions are euthanized in shelters due to stigma. These dogs are victims of a reputation they didn't create. Any real solution must address the suffering of both humans and animals. We need to protect the vulnerable on both ends of the leash. Compassion and understanding are key. Banning a breed seems simple, but it doesn't work. Breed-specific laws don't reduce dog bites. They target the wrong thing. When one breed is banned, people switch to another. The real solution is strong breed-neutral laws focused on reckless owners and dangerous behavior. Public education about dog behavior, socialization, and training is essential. Spaying and neutering reduces unwanted dogs and aggressive behaviors. Most fatal attacks involve unneutered dogs. Making low-cost spay-neuter services available helps everyone. Legal accountability for owners is crucial. Negligence should have consequences. Fines, jail time, and bans on ownership can deter reckless behavior. The focus must shift from blaming the dog to holding owners responsible. Safer communities come from responsible ownership, not breed bans. Real change starts with us. The Pitbull epidemic isn't really about pitbulls. It's a complex issue. Faulty statistics, irresponsible ownership, and social failures all play a part. Sensationalist media coverage spreads harmful myths and magnifies fear. The truth: any dog can bite, and any large dog can cause harm. Blaming pit bulls lets us ignore deeper problems: poverty, lack of education, animal cruelty. The cycle of fear and tragedy will continue unless we address the root causes. The problem is the situation we've created, not the dog. We need breed-neutral laws, owner accountability, and community education. Teach children to be safe around all dogs, and owners to raise well-socialized pets. Demand responsible media reporting and challenge myths. This isn't about loving or fearing pit bulls. It's about safer communities for all. Every dog deserves a responsible owner, and every person deserves to feel safe. The solution isn't banning dogs, it's embracing our shared responsibility to do better.